Dan from Bikes Palya, and today we're going to be doing a safety check on our bicycle. So there's a little saying we could use to remember the order of this, and it's A, B, C, tight. So A for air, B for brakes, C for chain, and T for tight. Today, in this video, I'm going to be using a few different tools. I've got some spanners of various sizes, some chain lube, Allen keys, a rag, and a pump. So first thing I'm going to check is the air. So that's the tyre, so I'm feeling here. I'm going to push on this tyre. As you can see, it's nice and firm. If I press on this back one, we can see here that is too squishy. So I'm going to get my pump and pump up that tyre to 40 psi. Okay, so now I've pumped up this tyre, it's nice and firm, and this one's nice and firm. Now I also need to check the tyres to make sure that they have plenty of tread, like we can see here. We can't see any bits of thread from the tyre sticking through or any big cracks. So these tyres are both in good condition. The next thing we need to check is B, the brakes. So I'm going to sit on the bike, put lots of pressure on the brake, and push it forward. And you can see that back wheel is skidding, it's being gripped. See how much I'm pulling on that? That's pretty good. If I'd like to have it a little bit tighter, I can also tighten the cable. I can tighten the cable here very easily. And now it engages a little bit quicker. I can also make adjustments to the cable at this point here. Other things we need to check with the brakes, we need to look at the cable, make sure that it's not rusted. We need to make sure that these points here, like this nut here that's holding the cable, is nice and tight. And we need to look at the brake pads here and see that they are lining up with the rim of the bike, which these ones are. So the next thing we need to check is C, the chain. The first thing I'm going to check is tension. So you can see here, the chain is tight, but it has a little bit of movement, and that's what we want. Just there, about that much movement, not more or less. If the chain's dirty, we can get a rag, hold onto the chain, and just clean any dirt off. We can also make sure that the chain isn't dry. So we can use some chain lube, which we just run onto the chain as follows. Turn the bottle upside down and little droplets will come out. There's little droplets going onto all the links of the chain as I'm turning it. Now in this case that's quite wet, so I'm going to rub some of the excess off with this rag. So there we have it. The chain's a good tension, it's lubricated, and it's clean. Okay, so now we've done the ABC of the safety check, now we're going to check for tight. Since I've got the bike upside down, I'm going to use this spanner and check the wheel nuts. So these can be quite tight to make it safe. So put a bit of pressure on there, pressure on there. Okay, got a little bit out of that one, and a little bit on there. So they're all nice and tight. While the bike is also upside down, I'm just going to check that the pedals are not loose. And I can just tighten them like so. We want to make sure that the handlebars are nice and straight with the wheel. They line up. And we want to make sure headset is nice and tight. So I'm just going to go over with an Allen key and check. Now if there is any play in the wheel bearings, when you wobble the wheel back and forth here and here, or in the cranks, fixing that is a little bit trickier, and you might want to get a hand from someone who knows what they're doing mechanically. You can also check the seat's straight, and that doesn't move. There's a little bit of movement there. So grab another spanner and tighten that up. That's nice and tight now. The other thing we can do is just do a little drop of the bicycle and see if anything wobbles around. It all seems pretty solid. Okay, so now we've finished our ABC tight check. We've checked the tyres, we've checked the air, we've checked the brakes, we've checked the chain, made sure everything's okay there, and we've gone over the bike and made sure that all the important parts are nice and tight. Bike's good to ride.